with his mother, Gladys, in 1945, and they were looking to buy a bicycle. Well, back in those days, we handled rifles, shotguns, ammunition, we handled bicycles, and we handled some musical instruments. And thank goodness we handled a certain musical instrument. We made a lot of people happy in this world, particularly y'all, right? But when Elvis came in, he spotted a .22 rifle hanging on that wall up there, and he decided he wanted the rifle instead of the bicycle. Well, his mother Gladys says, absolutely not. No, you're not going to have the rifle. So Elvis started kind of pouting and crying because his mama wouldn't buy him a rifle. And so this gentleman right here, this is Mr. Forrest Bobo, and Mr. Bobo was a longtime employee of Tupelo Hardware and was also a personal friend of the Presley family. In fact, he had... You do know that guy, don't you? Okay.
We just picked him up on the highway.
We got him off of Beale Street.
Yeah.
But no, this is Mr. Bobo, and Mr. Bobo was a longtime employee of Tupelo Hardware and was also a personal friend of the Presley family. In fact, he had supper with the Presleys the night before Elvis went to Memphis to do his first audition. So Mr. Bobo was trying to think of something to calm Elvis down. You know, they came in wanting a bicycle, and they went to a rifle, and his mother said no to the rifle. So Mr. Bobo thought of a guitar, and there was a guitar that was on display in this showcase right here, this exact same showcase. Elvis was standing on this exact same floor. I think you're right on the spot. But he was standing right there on that spot. And, yeah. And so Mr. Bobo opened the door of this cabinet, and he reached in, he pulled his guitar out, and he handed it to Elvis right where you're standing. And Elvis took the guitar in his arms, and he started strumming it a little bit. Pulled his guitar out, and he handed it to Elvis right where you're standing, and Elvis took the guitar in his arms, and he started. So his mother says, Elvis, I tell you what I'll do, I'll buy you that guitar if you'll take it. So he played with it a little more, and he turned to his mother and he said, yes ma'am, I'll take the guitar. Actually, Elvis turned to his mama and he said, that's all right, Mama, that's all right with me. anything y'all, no, he didn't say that. But, couldn't. But he did later. But he did, his mother bought Elvis the guitar, you know, right here at this counter at Tupelo Hardware in Tupelo, Mississippi. And we like to think that the rest is history. Now, I have seen Elvis in concert 3 different times. I know, isn't that great?
Lucky you.
Yeah. The first time I saw him was in 1957 in Hawaii. My dad was in the Navy, and we were stationed over there. I was in 1957, I was in the 16 years old in 10th grade in high school. And Elvis and Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana and Bill Blanket and Jordan Ayers came over there. And it was just absolutely incredible. I mean, it was, here's a young 22-year-old Elvis, you know, and I just became an instant Elvis fan. And always have been ever since. My mother and my brother and I saw him at Schofield Barracks, which is the Army base over there. Our next station from Hawaii was Naval Air Station Memphis. My wife was born here in Tupelo. Her dad was off in the war, and when he came home, they moved to Memphis when she was 2 years old. And that's how we met later in life in Memphis. And we got married in 1968. And together we saw Elvis at the University of Alabama over in Tuscaloosa, Alabama in 1971. And that was my wife's first time and my second. And he's now doing his Las Vegas style show. And it was great. That was her first and my second. And then we saw him in Memphis at the Mid-South Coliseum in 1974, which is the Live from Memphis concert that he made a record album out of. And it was, a lot of people say that's the best album or the best record that he ever made, was that Live from Memphis concert. And that was my third and my wife's second. And today we just, she and my wife and I just dearly love his music, you know, we, to this very day. We consider ourselves rock and rollers, you know, that's who we are and what we are, you know. But since I've been here, I've been in the store 3 years, and this past August, but I've sold 2 famous people a guitar, and you may know who this is, may not. This lady is a country singer. Her name is Pam Tillis, and her dad was Mel Tillis, that was also a country singer, and they're both members of the Grand Ole Opry, which is the ultimate in country music in our country, is to become a member of the Grand Ole Opry. And she came in, wanted to buy a guitar from where Elvis bought his, you know, so she did. Last year. These bad guys came in last year. You familiar with Aerosmith? I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. But they're kind of rockers, you know. But
Shakes tupelo.
They did too, you know, because they still play to their audience, even though they're 58 and 60 years old, which is not old. But yet, you know, they've got children, they've got grandchildren, and they're good guys. But they go wild when they play for their audience, you know. But they were yes sir and no sir in here, and thank you sir, and Joe Perry, that's Joe Perry, their lead guitar player, and Joe is a big Elvis fan, and in fact he calls it his E-room in his home just outside of Boston, and everything in the room is you know, about Elvis, you know, a collection that he's had over the years. But he walked in the store and says, I want to buy a guitar from where the king of rock and roll bought his guitar. And we've got guitars on the other side over there. We sell about 300 guitars a year. But this was one of my more exciting days here in the store when these guys came in, I can tell you that.
Guitar.
But we're glad to have y'all in. We sell postcards that are 35 cents each, or 3 for $1. These are keychains. We got red, green, and blue, and they are $1.50. And that it says where Gladys bought her son his first guitar on it. These are refrigerator magnets, and they are $1.99, and that says Rock and Roll Hardware at the bottom. These are just little gold seals. Now, if you buy a guitar from us, we put a gold seal, you know, on the letter, you know, on the sales ticket that I write up for you. I write it up in your name, and our guitars run from $79 up to $119. That's like $119 one right there, that natural. But we look at them on the other side.